let's just do a brief recap if we can remember, because the whole idea of TACT is to impact on certain level of knowledge, and then it should be applied into the business, and if we can take them into our own personal lives. So I'm just going to do a random selection for Debbie. Yeah, that's one. Okay, let's just hear what you remember about TACT.
And our caller spoke about football and the business side of football.
What specifically can you remember?
A lot, quite a lot. In fact, in my mind, I can still recall the video that was played last time we attacked, and it was quite impactful. So it's just to tell us that we shouldn't, football, it goes beyond the pitch, what we see on the field of play. It goes beyond that. The business side, what marketers are doing behind the scenes, what a lot of promoters are doing behind the scenes, what merchandise you can make from football.
We doing as marketing communication people with our Nigerian football club, many people are a bit skeptical about it. These people are not growing, but we spoke about South Africa and how they've been able to showcase their partnership in a very big way. So how can we also do that? We spoke about the Henneken thing that they do with Champions League. I think Colin made the point about why can't we also do that with the EPL? Why can't another brand like Origin, for instance, do something with EPL? So I think that was also very important.
Now to the law of attraction. For some of us, it's a very spooky thing. When you hear of attraction, when you hear of you become what you think, you're thinking of motivational science, and you're thinking, oh, those people that believe all in themselves, God is within you, and there is little or nothing that acknowledges the higher power. And some of them acknowledge the higher power, and then you begin to hear the universal law, you give to the universe, inner enlightenment, and then it sounds also spooky and strange. But these are simply various ways of looking at the same thing. There are various parallel views of the same thing, and we're trying to bring them together briefly. Very many religions in the world, from Christianity to Buddhism to Christian Science, they all have a common thing at this point of the law of attraction. The Bible will tell you that what you sow, you reap, or that what you want others to do unto you, do to them. And when you forgive, you get forgiveness. Forgive us as we forgive those who offend us. And then on the other side, there are those that will tell you that you need to send out your signal, your meditation, you focus on a topic hard enough, and you get it come to you. You focus on your desires and your goals, and it comes back to you. These are all various ways of looking at the same thing. Moving on, you find out that the whole idea of the law of attraction simply states that, or at a very cellular or subatomic level, for those of us that have sciences as our background, all matter, all that we are today, even solid objects are made up of moving particles at the atomic level. We have the positive and the negative charges, the electrons and the neutrons. These ones are constantly moving. The more solid the object is, the tighter the space in which they are moving, but there's constant motion in life. Moving on from that, when sufficient heat is applied, then you find actual boiling water, you find actual movement on the surface, air, particles move. This causes waves, that's why you can hear me right now. But all of this does, now bringing it back to the thoughts, what the law of attraction now says is that when you think of a thing, it's like you're setting something in motion, putting a drop or a pin into the pool to cause a ripple. What we are saying is that when you think, you set things in motion. We we are made of electronic pulses, charges. Our mind, that's the way God has wired it. That's why you can be connected to computers and you read the state of your body and they tell you that your vital signs are okay, or this or that.
To control your emotions, and in turn it has affected your environment. So how do you believe in these things? How do you visualize it? So for example, you want someone, or there's a business you are hiring or that you are aiming at getting. Try to create an imagery for that particular thing. Visualize it within your mind. She could have decided to be different or be better. And different about, okay, this is what I want, and then she stood for it. Better to say, oh, I accept the situation, and then I'm just going to leave to make it work for me. If we look at the case of a young secondary school leaver, most times what we find today is that what you set out to study at your by the time you are probably writing your exams, is probably not what you end up studying. And most times you find people working to make things work. So they try to better rather than to be different. So you trying to expand your frame of preference about your frame of reference about your blind spots, shining light on those blind spots really improves you to be better in using the laws of attractions. So right now, we are going to be looking at the laws of attractions as a foundation for living and business. Gbenga.
Symbol of hope. In my village, girls have no hopes. Only boys have the opportunity to go to school. This is where my brother went to school, and this is the place that I have always wanted to be when I was young. And I would always cry and say, Papa, why don't you just allow me to go just for one day? I just wanted to sit on a desk and, raise my hand and say something. As a little girl, I was desperate to learn. I was secretly doing my brother's homework, and I learned to read and write from my brother's books. This used to be my desk for doing my brother's homework.
Eventually, the teacher uncovered their secret and realized Tererai was the one who was always doing her brother's homework and begged Tererai's father to let her come to school. But after only 2 terms, she was married off at just 11 years old. By the time she was 18, she was a mother to 3 children.
When my husband realized that I wanted to have an education, he would beat me. I have nightmares of that time of my life.
In 1991, a woman named Jo Luck from an organization called Heifer International visited Tererai's village.
She found us sitting in a circle, and then she started asking us what our hopes and what our dreams. And I remember very clearly saying, my name is Tererai, and I want to go to America to have an education, and I want to have a BSc, I want to have a master's, and I want to have a PhD. And she just looked at me. If you desire those things, it is achievable. Write those things in your heart, whatever you desire. Then my mother said, write those dreams down on paper and bury them. And if you truly believe in those dreams, then you'll see them grow and grow and grow. Cover those dreams with a rock, because that rock will always call you wherever you are in the world.
Tererai wrote down her dreams that day, placed them in a scrap of tin, and buried them under a rock in the pasture where she herded cattle as a young girl.
This is the rock that has called me back. It was like I had my own secret, and the rock was keeping my secret for me, and it did over the years. There it is. My mother said, you are the last person to break this vicious circle of poverty, and I want you to do that. And I did it. I did it.
So, when we look at the laws of attraction as the foundation for living, the first thing to do is to set a clear goal for yourself in relationship. So setting a clear goal for yourself, you need to be sure of who you want in your mind. So describe that man, if it's possible, paint a picture of him, describe that lady, paint a picture of her, and try not to settle for what is below what you already described for yourself. So what we find out these days is that okay, so we tend to always submit to society pressure about the fact that I'm getting old, I'm over 30, and there's something about us in this part of the world that once you're over 30, then
It's like nothing. Even if you are very successful in what you're doing, they believe that you're not yet successful until you are probably married to a man or you are married to a woman. So you need to get a clear goal of the person you want to attract. So now, as you're working on that person you want to attract, you also need to be the person you want to attract, because likes attract likes.
How will all of this tie now into business? Okay, does it mean we'll come to work in the morning and sit on our desk and just take some 1 hour to meditate and go into the clouds? And no. What this is telling us, like she said, on the personal side is for you to first envision what you want, who you want. And on the business side means that you're gonna have to cast the vision for the business, for your day, or for the business unit that you work in. The vision now, every strong company, one of the things you do at the startup of a company is to have a vision. Now, how does it apply to business? It's not, like I said, not just wishful thinking. It's for you to actually first align, who are we? Who are you? As a business entity or as a person, who am I? What do I stand for? What should I be known for? When all those things are set as a person, then you can begin to attract life. And then as a company, so you can begin to attract life. The areas for attraction as a business are so numerous. One, it would be even the staff that you attract. There needs to be cohesion. Then to clients, we all would assume that. Then to suppliers, areas of business opportunities, expansion, growth, all these things can tie into the law of attraction, where the first thing is to have a vision for the business, and that's why every good business has a mission statement, has a vision statement, has a quality statement, has a policy statement. All of these things are because there needs to be an undergirding rule for whatever you're doing, either as a person or as a business, and then the actions that we take will not be in line with what we believe at our core, what we believe we stand for. When there is this alignment, then allow me to go back to science, then the pulses that we give off will be stronger, will be more real and genuine. It's not just, I want this, but I'm doing something separate.
Based on what you said, if we look at Vedanta very well, and we ask ourselves, this question arises every time. What exactly do we do? Somehow, people tend to take us more for a consultancy firm than an advertising agency. In fact, the advertising part, you need to explain, because they'll tell you, but we don't see what you do. So you start to say, okay, this is what we do and this is how we approach it. So sometimes you get the same brief that Philip Consulting is getting, and you ask yourself why. It is simply because you already designed something for yourself, and you are living, we have a mission, and we are living that mission and vision. So already people are seeing, clients, brands that want to live in that space, or that have solutions that are required within that space, are already seeing us there, and that is why they're approaching us. So somehow it seems to be attracting the same kind of business, because you look at some brief, if you're a newcomer and you have this mindset that is an advertising agency, and you ask yourself questions, so how does this apply to me, or what am I supposed to be doing? It's simply because there's a vision and mission statement that's driving the organization, and that is the same way that is what we've used to position the organization.
Between emotional relationship / business. But I have to add quickly, there are different words apart, because in business there's no sentiment, and in motion there's a lot of adrenaline going on, which might cloud your ability to take decisive decision. Thank you very much. So that should be separated as like North and South Nigeria. I want to give you 2 case studies quickly. The first one, these are US case studies in the automobile industry. When George Bush was president of the US, Toyota was in California. They employed 6,000 American citizens, and they are making sales. They were grossing billions every month because they were producing SUVs that middle-income earners could use. On the contrary, General Motors and Ford, they were not making sales because they were producing Jeeps. Big Jeeps. You know, American cars, they are as big as this house. So people could not really afford it. Their sales were what? Dropping. Now, instead of the board of directors to do the right thing, they all packed and went to the White House. They were giving George Bush thousands and thousands of reasons why taxes on Toyota should be increased. Then the governor of California told George Bush, I just go and beg you. If you increase tax here, Toyota is employing 36,000 people paying tax for the development of California. So how you want to? Now, the Bush now looked at it. We'll ban Toyota. That's a wrong business move. When you do not create competition, you give room for lethargy. Are you getting my point? Yes. Now, what did the president now do? He said, come, Toyota, Ford, GM, go and what? Compete. Please clap for Judge Bush in advance.
But again, talking about blind spots, which was what she had. Yes, no, that's different. Talking about blind spots, which is what you actually, so you know what you know, you also know what you don't know. But the bigger thing that controls our lives today is what you don't know. So, and that's the reason why a lot of us run helter-skelter. When you have a little bit of hiccup within your job, you're screaming, you're running around. And what also happens is because you don't even know there is something running your life. Because your blind spot can become your racket.
Now my question is, can attraction be a manipulative weapon? Can attraction be a manipulative weapon?
If we attract our kind, then how can opposites possibly attract? I need you to shed some light on that.
Sometimes what you think you are is not really who you are. So, sometimes people tend to seek for professional hands in achieving these things and in making the laws of attraction work for you.